welcome. And this is a welcome into the present moment, where despite being in different geographical locations, we tap into the one moment, the only moment. We value our surroundings, everything that we see, everything that we hear, everything that we smell and taste and experience through our skin as a part of a jigsaw, a part of the whole. And this is our interpretation of our surroundings, our world, which enriches this, all that exists. And so take it all in, take in all the sounds or lack of sounds that you can hear or cannot hear. The physical sensations through your skin, within your skin, your joints, your bones, your muscle, your tissue, alive. Relishing this ability to experience this aliveness within us. Releasing the need to guess or imagine what any other person around you might be thinking or feeling or experiencing. Because there's already so much to experience here within our own bodies. Even the sounds around us are being translated through our sense of hearing. Connected into the brain, the sense of touch, through nerve endings around the skin and within the body that translate and interpret and feed information into the brain. Hopefully by the end of this practice, we will have a larger picture, a larger, more in-depth experience of this present moment, the only moment. I'll ring the bell so that we can all climb into the present moment a little bit more, maybe not completely, but just a little bit more. Those glimpses that you were getting of the present moment, these glimpses growing as you begin to spend more moments here and now. Arriving As most of you know, we've been using the word arriving quite a lot over the last few practices. It's simply because this word truly represents this practice. No matter what is going on in your life, no matter what the stories are, whether connected to one of those three main areas: health, finances, or relationships. As we arrive into the present moment, space begins to appear between those stories and this present moment, where our true selves have always been. Our identification gently beginning to shift from the mind and its story, which almost always relates to events from the past or future. As we practice using words such as arrive, let us also remind ourselves that in our day-to-day lives, when we experience unease, anxieties, worries, anger, fears, the practice begins by simply identifying that we have somehow been caught up in one of those stories. And it becomes the perfect opportunity, just like this moment, to practice arriving. And so you may be thinking, you might be walking, you might be going somewhere, whether it's to a hospital or to your accountant or to pay a bill, or after a conversation, a heated conversation. You might be walking, you might be sitting at a table, you might be doing pretty much anything. And the moment we sense the story, the identification with the story, we hear the bell, the call to attention, the call to arrive. Just as in this moment, as you arrive onto your seats, onto your cushions, onto your mats. You become the self who is sitting and breathing. You become the self who is sitting and breathing and thinking, thinking, thinking. It becomes immaterial what you are thinking about. And all you need to do is to identify that you are thinking just as you might be right now. In fact, just as you most likely might be doing right now. Thinking, 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 arriving, observing your thoughts. And so, in your day to day life, you might be walking, you might be having a meal, you might be running or exercising, and thinking. How do we grow roots into the present moment and ground ourselves into the present moment? That's what this practice is about. And for that, we can use my voice will guide you towards different tools that are always at your disposal, always at my disposal, always there. And one such tool would be the breath. If you can imagine how, as you draw in your breath, how it moves through the lungs. The lungs made up of many vessels that look like roots underneath a tree, spreading the oxygen all around. So that it may be transferred into the blood and then reach every corner of our bodies. Try breathing in a bit deeper now so that the breath moves down into your stomach, giving you the ability to observe the rising and the falling of the stomach wall. Now breathe in even deeper. Let the air move down underneath your body so as to create roots that now connect you, ground you, anchor you, plant you into the present moment. Like a tree that has been here for a very, very, very long time. you continue to notice thoughts, feelings, which we often refer to as emotions. But as your body transforms itself into this tree that is stable, that is grounding itself, its roots spreading deep into the earth's crust, becoming one with this planet and its stability and its almost timeless quality. Having been here far longer than this tree, as you stabilize and as you anchor, giving the winds of change permission to move through your branches, no longer attempting to push against, releasing the need to be rigid and want things to be a certain way. Watch your branches dance to the winds and to the storms of emotion, of thought. Feeling the outlines of your body, the interaction between skin and clothing, skin and air, developing the ability to distinguish the true self from the movement of the mind, of the weather patterns, and sometimes of the storms. Sometimes the storms, they help us to dance, develop new moves, new graceful movements, tapping into the rhythm and the movement and the sway, appreciating this ability to grow and develop as we simply allow that which is separate to flow past. Breathe in deeply again, perhaps a little bit deeper than the last time. Letting the roots move deeper into the crust of this earth. And then watching as the light changes around you from day to night, a cycle that soon turns into the changing seasons. But at the same time, tapping into the wisdom of the tree, its ability to know, its ability to allow these changes. How the tree does not distinguish one season from the next. How spring is the same as autumn. How summer is no different from winter. Adapting, allowing, observing, witnessing. We've all had to let go of certain things, certain people, certain attributes, status. With the ringing of the next bell, just for a moment, just for a single moment, let us release our judgments. Just like the tree, experiencing the stillness of allowing, experiencing the wholeness of releasing judgments about what should or should not happen or be. And just resting on your seat, on your chair, experiencing your body with its full stomach, with the comfort that surrounds it, the privacy, the stability. Experience this present moment a little more fully. When autumn comes, releasing the leaves, embracing the lightness that arrives with the reduced responsibilities of just being conserving, lighter, easier, here, now, and observing as the seasons change and the flowers begin to emerge and the leaves begin to emerge once again. Now observing, experiencing the beauty, yet releasing the temptation to judge even this as good or better. Existing as a complete being, irrespective of the changing seasons and the fruit and the flower and the leaves, experiencing the completeness of the naked branches with its lightness, free of fruit, free of flowers. Again, releasing the need to judge one as desirable and one as not. Observing the cycles through this space of oneness that embraces all, that is beyond good, beyond bad, beyond the mind. Moving beyond form and body with which the mind identifies with. Identification shifting from form to life itself. That life that you can feel at the center of your chest, that keeps your heart beating, that keeps my heart beating, that keeps the hearts of every single person participating in this practice beating. And the lungs breathing, and the stomach digesting, and the ears hearing. And as you breathe in, as you trace your roots embedded deep within the earth, like those trees. I believe it is the redwood trees. How every root moves around and joins with the roots of the other trees within the forest. Every tree connected, not visibly at the surface level, but deep within the earth, contributing to the stability and its ability to last and live for many hundreds and hundreds of years. As we breathe in, let us experience this core, this center, this life that connects each and every one of us, not only to each other, but to the planet, to the people that populate this planet with its animals and its birds and its other life, countless life forms, including the vegetation, becoming it all. But even as we find ourselves embracing all life forms and the planet itself, there is still space for expansion. As we now begin to embrace the moons and the stars and the galaxies, and a universe that continues to expand. Perhaps understanding, or rather getting a glimpse into why it is that we always seek more relationships, more toys, more property, simply because we remember, we know our birthright, that we simply are that which is beyond definition, beyond boundaries, beyond form, that which the scriptures simply refer to as that. And through practices such as this, we remind ourselves that it is no longer an outward search. It is no longer a search for more relationships, more accumulations, more awards or degrees or recognition or Facebook likes, but a journey within, a remembering, a returning back to that very point where it all began, here and now. As we sit, as we breathe, knowing what it feels like to be complete, no longer needing to be anywhere else other than the here and the now. Almost like a circle, searching and searching and searching until we find ourselves back where we began, at home. Now that we've arrived home, let's bring our attention back to our breath. That interaction between air and skin, unfolding in the only moment, the present moment. And even though my voice guided you through many galaxies and geographical locations, it is but a simple practice, using our five senses, or even just one of these five senses, as our doorways into the present moment. This particular moment, the present moment unfolding through this interaction between air and skin within the nasal passage, simplifying it. Initially, identifying the direction of the airflow. How do you know when the breath is being taken in, and how do you know when it is flowing out? Releasing the need to answer, but to simply experience. Expanding into sensations such as temperature, the body's ability to translate, humidity levels, how the breath out feels so much warmer, so much more humid than the precious breath in. The equally precious breath out. Relinquishing judgments, involves seeing everything as precious, everything as having a function that serves us. Observing this flow, breath in, breath out. With finances, money in, money out. With health, with relationships, with everything else, in and out, both precious, all precious. Appreciating upon hindsight our own journeys here into this little virtual room that we have discovered, that we have found, that we now practice in. Every right, every left, every right, every wrong, every up, every down, having brought us to this moment of completeness, where from this point onwards the practice becomes one of arriving, of grounding, of observing the formation of thoughts and intentions, of observing and watching the movements of the body and the speech that unfolds through its lips and the movements through its limbs. From this space beyond the mind, where there is kindness, where there is stillness, where there is a deep contentment, free of the need to be somewhere else. Let's spend a few moments here. Just bring your own attention to your breath now. Prepare yourself for the final bell, so that even that label we refer to as the final bell fades away, and the practice simply continues. We often use the breath simply because there is a recognition that this is a practice that helps us to slow our thought process down. And in order to help us to slow our minds and our thought processes down, we bring our attention to aspects of the present moment that neither stimulate the mind nor cause any form of aversion or pushing against. And so once you understand this, you begin to recognize that it is not only this practice need not be confined to the breath. Your eyes may be open. You may be listening to sounds around you. You will begin to fix your focus on an aspect of your present moment which you neither like nor dislike. For example, if you were to bring your attention to your sense of hearing, is there a sound around you that you hadn't noticed? That you hadn't noticed up until this moment? Simple examples would be the rustling of the leaves outside your window, of traffic driving past, of children playing in a playground, somewhere quite far away from your room, or a fan, radiator, or the humming of the fridge, freezer. Or sometimes just those gaps of silence that reveal themselves to us when one sound stops and just before the next one emerges. Or that silence behind every sound that allows my voice to be heard, that allows the sound of this bell to be heard. Fixing your attention on this space and watching as the mind continues to slow down, neither stimulated nor pushing against. Noticing how sometimes it almost feels certain that the mind attempts to define even these neutral sounds once attention has been given to it. Sometimes even labeling the sound as boring. But this too becomes a precious, precious tool in this practice as we recognize the tendency and the quality of the mind to constantly want and seek stimulation, activity, busyness, likes, dislikes. But I'll ring the bell so that we can all take a deep breath together, grounding ourselves into the present moment and watching and allowing the thoughts to move through our branches, smiling and dancing, allowing what does it feel like to be this tree? What does it feel like to be separate from the storms and the changes and the movements? Now release the need to give answers, to define, to rationalize, and just arrive a little bit more completely than when we had started. A little bit more than in the last breath. And this is the practice. And now the next bell to symbolize the beginning of this true practice. Where we move through the sounds and the sensations and the sights and all else that will present themselves to us through these five senses, each an indicator directing us back into the stillness, back into the present moment, back into the only moment where we experience our lives from breath to breath and moment to moment through the lens of kindness, appreciation, stillness, and that which many teachers refer to as a love free of all conditions, a love that just is. Thank you, thank you, thank you, my dear friends.
And keeping up.
It's a pleasure.
That's
Thank you.
great. Thank you.
Thank you so
Thank you
much
so
for
much,
joining
guys.
me.
Have a great day.
Thank you.
Everyone.
Love to all of you.
Bye.
Bye bye.
Bye.